Hello everybody. I've not shown my face on this channel yet before, so here I am. Hi. um, this video is likely going to be the last on this channel, and what I have for you is some previous footage of me starting the trike and driving it around. I sort of found it in my photo library and decided that I should make one last video. The trike itself is in storage, enjoying its retirement, and I'm off at grad school. I don't live at home anymore. My workshop is still there, but I don't have access to it. And I also don't really have time to make and edit long videos anymore. So, consequently, this last video this channel is going to be put out. The channel has been automatically demonetized by YouTube because I have not posted in so long. And yeah, I'd like to thank you all for your support. There's one video on this channel which has more than 800,000 views, and I never had any idea that it could that it could get that many. But if you do want to continue seeing video content from me, hop over to TikTok. My handle on TikTok is AeroEngineer123, and I make videos of me playing guitar very badly. So I'll put the link in the description. Pop over if you wanna if you wanna see those. Anyways, without further ado, let's cut to the video.
Hello viewers, and welcome to some hopefully less shaky than usual filming. What I want to try and do in this segment is do a walk around of the trike as though it were a normal car. Maybe try and give you some idea of what it's like to drive, and then I'll put together some footage of it actually being driven. With regards to steering, which I think I briefly mentioned, there's quite a bit of play in the steering. You can see the wheels are not actually moving, and this is undoubtedly due to some wear in the ball joints, and also not ball joints, the universal joints, and also to the play in the sort of chain and sprocket setup. But it's a pretty quick ratio steering, and it is quite heavy at low speeds, but it gets the job done. Now, as far as actually driving the thing, it's a little bit tricky, I'll be honest. Even if you drive a manual car every day, you'd find this hard to drive. The travel of the clutch is very short. All the engagement happens in about an inch or maybe 2 inches. And the gearbox is sequential. It's not like a H-pattern manual. You have 4 gears. There's no synchronizers. It's all dog clutches. So it's, if you're come to a stop and you're in, got the clutch and you're in second, you got to clunk down through all the gears into first so you can pull away. Now, the advantage of this short clutch pedal travel and sequential gearbox is if you want to shift gears fast, you just literally lift off the accelerator and knock it into the next gear. You can depress the clutch a tiny bit and it will go in really easily. Or if you want to be really aggressive about it, you just lift off and bang it in the next gear without the clutch. But at low speeds, it's it's clunky, it's easy to stall, it's difficult to drive. The throttle it's got quite a long travel, but it has a dead spot at about maybe 1/3 throttle, and then once you go over there, then it really starts to pull. But it's, you got to kind of learn the ins and outs of this thing. It's not a car you can just, or a vehicle you can just jump in and drive easily. The other thing to note is the brakes. The brakes here are mechanical drum brakes. They're cable operated drum brakes, and they do not stop you like a normal car's brakes. Most of the deceleration in this thing you do by changing down gears and let the engine braking happen. And because it's so light, and because the engine has fairly high compression, engine braking is a very effective way of slowing down. You only step on the brakes once you're, you know, right, just coming up to a stop sign and creeping along, and then you step on the brakes and it stops. So the brakes are to be used with caution. Now, the seat is an Ikea seat. It's plastic. It's bolted not directly to the floor pan. There's actually a metal frame under here. It's a devilish tricky job to get all these bolts in. And, you know, it is actually surprisingly comfortable, but the one thing I would point out is if you look up the roof here, there isn't a whole lot of headroom. Now, if you're if you're a little bit shorter than me, you'd probably be okay, but I'm 5'11" and I just barely fit with a helmet on. So you'd be well advised to lose an inch or two if you wanted to drive this thing and you're, you know, particularly tall. It has got a seatbelt, you know, a 3-point seatbelt which clips in down there, which is nice, and it, you know, it's an inertia reel seatbelt. It will lock if you get in a crash, which is good. But it's worth noting that this is just about the most unsafe and rickety contraption ever to drive around. Let's move on to the engine. This is a Piranha YX140cc. I don't know quite what it's called. Effectively what it is a Honda clone. It's a clone of the engine in the Super Cub, but it's much, much bigger. That engine was 50cc, this is 140. It's got, I don't know, 9.5, 10-to-1 compression, uses a Mikuni, I think it's a 21mm carburetor, or maybe it's a 26, I forget. Well, I don't think I've ever shown the starting procedure for the Trike before, so I suppose here goes. The first thing we've got to do is turn the fuel on. There's a valve down, oops, a valve down there, and we turn it on like that. We'll just check that there's enough fuel. Maybe you can't see that, but it would appear we have enough for a drive. Then we're gonna come up here, make sure it's in neutral, and flip the ignition switch on. And lastly, we're gonna come here, flip the mixture enricher on. That's kind of the Mikuni equivalent of a choke, but instead of restricting the airflow, it just opens up what's effectively another carburetor jet. And then we're gonna back the idle off a little bit, maybe half a turn, quarter turn, something like that. And then we can proceed to start it. All right, here we go. Time to fire the beast up. See if it starts. Now what we're going to do is let it warm up on the mixture enricher a little bit, and then we'll turn it off and kind of speed the idle up a little bit so it doesn't die. Flip that off, and oh, it died. Oopsie. Okay, hang on. Slight technical difficulties here, people, if you'll just bear with me. We're gonna, oh my goodness. Okay, that's there. And, oh, dearie me. Okay, let's flip that off. All right, this is what happens if you are an idiot like me. And it's now refusing to start. Brilliant. There we go. Let's get some idle in there. There we go. Now we're done. Alright, let's back the beast out.